welcome to the 150 follower special. We are doing it as a Valentine's Day special. So we're going to start out today with the slow poached pork tenderloin. I have my tenderloin here ready, my pot's ready. I have my mirepoix here, which is 2 parts onion, 1 part celery, 1 part carrot, and just some garlic. Later on we're going to set up bouquet garni, which is just basically some herbs that'll help flavor the broth. So basically I'm just going to show you how to remove what's called the silver skin off of the meat. So basically what we're going to do, this stuff here, it doesn't cook, it doesn't break down in cooking, so it will always be chewy. So if you leave this on, it's not going to be for a good experience. So basically what we want to do is get a sharp knife, get the point in underneath where the silver skin is, go up, kind of angle your knife up a little bit, get through it, and then just come and as you pull that silver skin, you just want to slice it a little bit as you're going to come through, and you want to try and get the silver skin off while removing as little of the meat as possible. That's really the goal. Obviously you paid for the meat, not the waste, and like I said, we're going to clean that all up and get it all ready. Alright, so this is what your tenderloin should look like after you've removed all the silver skin. As you can see, that silvery, shiny skin that was on the pork earlier is off of it. It's cleaned up. I use a boning knife for this procedure just because it's got a nice sharp tip to it. If you just have a chef's knife or whatever you have, I'm sure you can get through it. It's not the most difficult job. So moving on over, we're going to make the bouquet garni I was talking about earlier. Like I said, it's just like a bag of like herbs and spices. So I'm going to start out adding some fennel seeds, some coriander seed, some whole black peppercorns, some bay leaves, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of sage, and a little bit of parsley just to flavor that up. So I'm going to go stuff that all in, and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we are ready to get cooking. I'm going to start out adding about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I want a generous amount of olive oil in the pot here, just like that. I like to also cook with a little bit of butter, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter into the pot. Turn the heat on. We want a decently high heat, like a medium-high heat, I just want to get a good sweat on the vegetables. I don't want to actually caramelize or color them at all, because what I'm actually looking to do is keep the broth as light of a color as possible to complement the color of the pork. Alright, so once your fats are a little bit heated, so you can hear the butter sizzling nice, it's ready for the vegetables to go in. I'm going to throw everything in all at once. Here we go. So we're not actually looking to caramelize any of the vegetables. I just want to like sweat the onions, get a little bit of sweat on the vegetables, because I don't want any color on them, because I want a light colored broth for my finish. If I was doing like, you know, a beef gravy or something, I'm definitely going to caramelize this mixture here, the mirepoix. So just let it go a little bit. Alright, so once you've got a little bit of sweat on the vegetables, you can really tell because the celery will turn a nice bright green, as you can see, and the onions will start to go a little bit translucent. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of white wine here. I'd say about half cup to about a cup. You want to hear that nice sizzle, and take it down a little bit. And right from here, we're just going to add our water. Get it up to a nice temperature where we can add our pork, and then we're going to start poaching. Now in terms of how much liquid to add, basically we just want enough to cover the pork. There's a couple options what you can do. You can just use water along with the wine, but something that I really like to use, I think is really good for like the home cook or starter cook, is these Knorr home style bouillon cube things. So it just comes in a little packet. You just open it up, and you can just throw it in your pot, whatever you're making. It's really good in sauces, stuff like that. Or you can use actual like chicken stock you buy from the store kind of thing, and use that instead of like water with this stuff added. Or like I said, you can just use the water. So that's how we make our bouillon. Alright, so in terms of how much liquid to use when poaching, poaching really constitutes the fact that you have to cover the meat fully with the liquid. It has to be immersed in the liquid. So like I said, enough to cover the pork. In terms of flavoring the pork, you can use actual stock with the wine or water with the wine, but I like to use these little Knorr packets that are just like concentrated stock cubes. You just add them into your pot. They add a nice flavor. They're really simple, really easy. So if you're like a home cook, rush cook, that kind of thing, really simple, really easy solution to that. Alright, so now that our stock is bubbling a little bit, I've turned it down to a low temperature because we want this to poach slowly, low and slow, because if you cook it too high of a temperature, all you're going to do is you're going to boil your meat and it's just going to turn into chewy, overcooked, not tender, delicious, juicy like we want. So once I kind of see that the bubbles are a little bit lower than they are right now, I don't want to see like a rolling bubble, I just want to see bubbles every once in a while. So basically with my pork, I did cut it in half just so it will fit in my pot better. If you have a big enough pot, you can keep it in one piece. Just make sure that it's pretty even all the way through so that it cooks evenly when it is in the pot. Alright, we're almost at the point. Alright, now that we're just bubbling a little bit, I'm going to add my pork right in. So like I said before, you want to make sure the meat is covered by everything. And as you can see already, the meat's starting to cook on the outside. I'm just going to cover it, and we're going to poach that for roughly 20 to 25 minutes on low heat. Alright, so after you've added your water, make sure you add your bouquet that we made earlier in there. And then we can go ahead and add our meat. Alright, so all I've done here is I've taken some of the poached pork broth, put it into a pan. The pork is at temperature, roughly 145 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I kept under a little bit of tin foil here to tent it, just so all the juices come back into the middle, so that when we cut it doesn't flow out everywhere and become a dry piece of meat. Here, now that it's boiling, I'm going to add a little bit of white wine again, because it is a white wine reduction sauce that we're making, so I want it to taste like white wine. And then I'm going to add some butter, about a tablespoon, maybe two. And then right when I feel it's at a good point, I'm going to add the cream. So when it thickens up a little bit, we're going to add the cream. Alright, so now that we're at a good point in our reduction, as you can see when we calm it down, it's looking a little bit thicker. So I'm going to add a little bit of cream. Swirl it around. Nice white wine reduction sauce. As you can see, white being the key factor. And then all I'm going to do is I have some chopped up sage and thyme. Add it right in there. Oh yeah, that's going to be beautiful. And now just for a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. If you have white pepper, you can use it if you want to keep it a nice white color. You don't have the specks of black, but I don't mind, so. And there's our final gravy. Alright, and for the final product, the sauce drizzled over top of the meat. And there you have it. So, thanks for 150 followers, guys. Hope you enjoy.